we will need to because we're only M7. So a good chance there'll be some jamming going on pretty soon. And the top left, of course, 6 of 14 now. Trying not to look like a liar, I said I would make a final table. Yeah. Too bad about the mama said. Thought we were going to make that one. We're actually doing okay in this one as well. It's only early, but 7 of 239. They seem to go for a very long time, these 26s. I don't know. Don't know why that is. Structure. I don't think the structure is that much better than stars. Maybe it is. Oh, yes. Very close. But I think given that these three, or these two are in jam mode, we have raised, well, these four, this guy's kind of deep. He could mess with us a bit. My biggest concern really was actually the big blind, because he's kind of defending on the loosish side from what I can see. Just go check my tables here. 2. Yes, confirm. 1, confirm. Wow. Can we ever do anything down here? $320, 600, 784. Wow. Small 3-bet on the button. Depends what he does that, isn't it? Pretty close there. I almost just want to 4-bet and we commit to this guy on the button. Yeah, I think. Yeah, maybe we should have done that. This guy's been raising first in a lot, especially from late, but we don't have tons of hands on him. He has 3x'd, but that just might be his thing that he does. And I'm just going to actually raise, yeah, I think. Certainly not a fist pump moment. But I just think between the times that he folds from cutoff and the times that he actually does call, but he has like King Jack or pocket fives, or we have the right price, he does fold. I mean, the thing about the 3x2 is there's a little bit more dead money in there that we want. We do love dead money, just love it. Just love dead money. And I just love pocket kings. And I just love it when someone jams. Where's the isolation? Come on, get some chips in there. Don't be shy. It's always an ace. Yes, there we go. Don't want to look like a liar here. Got to make the final table. There is always an ace. They can't just have jacks. They always have to have the ace. It's always there. All the times I've been in that situation today, the ace has been there. Whether it's been ace 7, ace 5, ace 6, ace 9, someone's got the ace. Somehow we managed to fade it. Poker gods are in the Bahamas. They're on holiday. Somehow they've let us get away with that sneaky one. I'm just not sure I can fold here. No, he looks kind of tight, but I think he's probably jamming just wide enough against a button open, you know, any ace, some king tens and stuff, maybe just some jack nine suited and stuff. But maybe not if he's tight, he might not jam those, I guess. But Yushka, still in the still in the breeze here. 20, well, that's right. Going through the wormhole here. 22 of 25. And M4, 4, 8, 12, I would have folded, I think, anyway. Yeah, I think I would have. I think we've really got to focus on the dead money in this top left, Tony. We're really in a good spot to get set up for the win here with this stack sizes, and it is like considerable money to low stakes players. I mean, if these guys' average buy-in is around $11, then 3,000 is going to be something that they're going to want to be. That they're going to have on their mind, that they're getting close to, you know, decent payouts. And therefore, I think for us this tourney now is really about going for the win. And well-timed 3-bets and a lot of opens, a lot of light opens, just to apply pressure and try and pick up dead money. The way these guys are playing, they seem to be playing pretty tight. Sort of, they have that jam or fold stack size, so it makes sense that they would be playing that way. Obviously, would have opened that if it folded to us. Oops. Good here. Okay. Top right. It could be our moment of glory here. Snap that one in. Should have the best hand against the small blind. He's loose. He's only against the button. I think we have him crushed. Well, he's got Queen 6, so it's not really crushed, but I mean, in good shape. And we don't hold. The snap Queen 6 with virtually no fold equity against the button. Well, I mean, he has fold equity, but not a lot. And he's got Queen 6 off. Yeah, that's a bit disappointing. Snapped it in there too, didn't he? Just snapped it in. Maybe he thought the button was a prolific stealer. Button is getting such good pot odds that I think he's just going to call off with a lot of hands. And I think I'm going to open here. Get some leverage. This guy before was kind of active, but he's shut down a bit now. He might be getting... He might be thinking about the pay jumps a little bit. I'm going to just go with around 14 here, I think. I don't want to make it too cheap against kind of these low buying guys, you know, because they might be like, always you bet so small. He's got nothing, he's weak. I mean, it would be true, but in that instance, but yeah. I think just, well, it's kind of, let me think about this. Let's think about this. So 7-14. I think we actually want a 3-bet here. Do we? I think we do actually. I think we want a 3-bet here. It's pretty close. We could just call. I just don't know how out of line he's getting here. I could be wrong, maybe very out of line. It's 135, there's 211 in there. I wonder if he's jamming small pairs and so forth. We're getting a pretty good price now. He has been pretty loose, kind of aggro. It does put us in a bit of a tough spot. Yeah, I'm kind of in two minds here. I guess given the price that we're getting, we can't quite fold. And there is the straight. I think against that player, we just... I kind of had to follow through there. I mean, he's loose. I think there's value to get by raising him. But I kind of was like a nervous bride, wasn't I, there? You know, I set it up nicely and then got cold feet. They called me to come out of the change rooms, had my dress on, my lipstick, had my big hair and my big dress, and suddenly got a bit of kind of stage fright. I think that he did just snap it in as well, which kind of made me think that he might just be being a bit of a fish. I get a bit very exploitively here and go larger than I was betting before. I don't think this guy really has noticed. And I think any pair and a 10, he's going to give us some joy. It was a good hold with the ace-10. I mean, obviously we're a huge favourite, but... we are 1 of 10. And pretty well clear here too. Yeah, that ace-10, you know, I mean, we can call a little bit. This is a little bit risky, and I was saying we don't want to take the high variance route, but I think just sort of calling out of position with the ace-10 there. We're only 5-handed. We're against an aggressive player. Doesn't it's certainly from an ICM point of view and controlling and that sort of thing. There's some merit to it, but just doesn't really sit that well with me. Prefer to attack, I think, in that instance. Now, you know, we're not going to get too many good opportunities. Well, I mean, I hope we do. But it's kind of one of those ones where if you... I mean, if we fold there, if we just call and then check fold flops, or if we 3-bet and then fold, we're kind of waiting, you know, for that perfect scenario. And that's a scary thing to be doing, because that really is not strong poker. And we do have a really commanding chip lead now. And I think knocking out that player too, there's a lot of benefit to it. Because he's a sort of player that you don't really want to have hanging around in short-handed play. Because he's going to be very aggressive. Whereas a lot of these other guys appear like they might be very sort of passive. I think I'm going to call here. He's only M2, just over M2. And hard to fold when we'd be getting 45 to 1. But it wasn't the best flop, was it? It wasn't exactly the best flop. And he's still fairly short anyway. Yeah, I just think, you know, he's against his range and the pot odds, and we've only got one player behind. It's just, I mean, we're never obviously in great shape, but I mean, it just seems a bit silly to. Seems a bit silly to fold there, I think. With all the dead money against such a short stack. I think I will open here. The big blind has been defending a little bit, which is kind of annoying because, you know, and he does decide to jam us now. So I don't know if he's adjusting. I would say maybe he's not necessarily. I just tank Hollywooding a bit here, obviously. Don't really want to be just snap folding. He could. He could be widening his range a little bit. Interesting, okay, we've got a limp here. Don't have a lot of history on this guy, but he's not, from what we can see, limping tons and tons. So he's probably got a few traps in there, especially with the stacks behind, but, you know, mostly not. Mostly Jack Queen, you know, Ace 8, Pocket 5s, probably stuff like that. Obviously, you know, not folding to that size and with our hand, which is a very well disguised hand, because we're just in the big blind. Presuming he's, you know, thinking that way. It looks like we have a, you know, 6 or 10, I think, or spades, or. I think I'm just going to bet sort of fairly, just an amount here where we can get called by maybe an 8 and a 10, maybe even heroed if he's trapped with like queens and limped, or like got 9s or 7s. He might sometimes hero, thinking we miss spades or something like that. Not sure if I'm going to be raising his big blind or not, am I? I think I limpy typed. No. It could mean that he's a little bit scared about the whole final table. The November 9 coming up. It is November, so I think I'm going to fold the Jack 3 to him, but I think I'm going to be opening a lot. I think he's not the type that's going to go too mental. Big stack on big stack. I just kind of feel like he's going to play friendly. But, you know, I don't have many hands on him, so it's just a wild guess. Easy call there with the King Jack. And don't get there, unfortunately. We don't want to take too many hits like that, that's for sure. Keep doubling that guy out. Top right, I went ahead and check raise the flop. And just going for value now, obviously we made our hand. He's only on the button, so I mean, he's probably folding quite a bit. What does he have here? Smaller hearts sometimes. I think I'm just going to bet this amount here. He might sometimes spaz out and shove. I mean, he could have us beat once in a while. You know, he can have a nut flush, or he could have had a set of fours or something. But I think this player is a bit of a... Oh, maybe not. I was going to say I thought he was a bit of a donk, but... And it looks like he had king queen, or, you know, something like that. He did have the smaller flush, so... yeah. Maybe we could have bet a little bit bigger. He actually played it pretty good, I think. A fish there will probably actually jam turn or river. Just gotta make sure I stay zoned in here. A lot of tables going on, and obviously got these other tables going. Wow, how does he do that? How's he done so sick? Interesting that he just mins. I think it's good to get that jam in as well, just because it kind of makes us look a little bit, gives us a little bit more fear equity, I think. I think at the moment these guys would be a little bit concerned about us, especially that guy with us on his left. You know, we 3-bet him before, we jammed on him then, we're raising on his blind all the time. I think he'd be kind of quite aggravated, I think. And it's just a little bit hard for him to do too much about it, though, with his stack. I mean, he can 3-bet jam, obviously, but he doesn't have a whole lot of playability to work with. It's kind of a tight fold there, these two. I probably could open that. You've got to be careful you don't, when you've got a lot of tables going, you've got to be careful you don't make a couple of sort of nitty folds or miss 3-bets. It's, you know, it kind of inevitably happens. It's hard to stop it from happening altogether. I think I'm going to raise here just because we snapped his face off before with the king-jack suited. He knows that we're not afraid to call, I think. And I mean, his stats aren't crazy. He might think we're going to snap his face off again, and so we might be able to get a fold. Just going to re-raise there an amount that where he might think he's got room to jam. It did kind of look like he had a decent hand, but we can always make trips and put an end to his reign, leaving with 6 chips. Yeah, I'm going to raise this one. Just fold to a jam, I guess. It is still a final table bubble, so... a little bit of Hollywood again, I think. You know, these three here are all in this sort of jam or fold mode, so we can expect to get jammed on a bit, but I still think, especially with an ace blocker in this instance, that we definitely want to be opening. And you could actually maybe argue for opening any 2 here, but I think any 2... I think we just want to be a little bit careful because we might be just sort of setting ourselves up to be a target, depending on how bad these guys want to make the final table and how wide their jamming ranges are. Which Interesting that he's just limped. And I don't quite just want to get a bit funky, you know, and just jam it there. You know, you kind of could, because I don't think there's a lot of hands he's limp calling with. But I could be wrong. Maybe he does it with like fours or something, but doesn't want to. He might not know how to play. Obviously, fours is a fist pump jam. But maybe he has like a 10 jack or something like that. And it's pretty close. I mean, we could stab a half pot, I guess. We probably could have. We could maybe have stabbed if he was playing honest. Yeah, but it's obviously a bad board, and we have a bad hand. A little bit relieved actually. That's final table, I think, because I think final table the players are play a little bit tighter. I think that you know, previously they, of course, they want to make the final table, but they're not really thinking about ICM too much, I think. Whereas now, I think even sort of your mediocre type players kind of like, okay, I'm getting 223. I can make another 100 over another $100 if I don't be the next, if I don't bust next, kind of thing, you know. Becomes a little bit more apparent that the pay jumps are there and they're considerable. Well, I mean, you know, considerable depending on your bankroll, obviously. Yeah, I'm gonna call that one, I think. I'm trying to get a little bit of value, I think, with the 10 there. And we've got a break coming up, guys. Which is kind of good. Need a bit of a refresh. 4 AM here. And cooking. Really ready for this final table. Yeah, I think just to defend here is pretty close, but this guy's not particularly tight from what we can see from early. We're getting a decent price. And bad flop. Yeah, we got one more player behind. It's actually not too bad a flop for a float or a check raise, I guess. You know, if it's heads up. But yeah, kept it pretty simple. Kept it pretty clean against a UTG player. And break time. Be right back with more action.